What's up, guys? This is Brent with Western Equipment. Let's get right into the maintenance points on these balers. Now, these are going to be your daily maintenance checks that you should be doing on your round balers every time before you go hit the field. This is just good practice to make sure to keep your machine up, keep the maintenance up on it, keep it clean, and make sure that you are doing the most that you can to keep yourself up and running in the field when you go to the field to bale that hay. So the first one is going to be opening up our side doors on either side, making sure and blowing them out, making sure that we don't have any debris around our chains, sprockets, and all the other moving parts. Next on the checklist should be getting everything cleaned out of the pickup right here in the front, opening up the rear gate and making sure that our bale chamber is cleaned out, and then if we have any material that is built up in the pickup, that we're blowing that out from the rear to the front, and rather than dragging that material back through the baler, through all these pickup components, if we can go from the back to the front and blowing that stuff out, we'll keep this baler cleaner and be easier on our wear parts. Now, while we're at the back and we have the gate open, next thing that we need to check is go ahead and inspect our bale kicker. So we want to make sure that on this bale kicker arm that our chain, for one, is intact, that pulls that bale kicker up whenever the gate is lifted. We also want to inspect the springs on this bale kicker and make sure those are in good shape, and then we can move on to the next step. Once we have everything cleaned out and blown out, you ought to be able to see all of your grease points on this machine, and as we know, we are going to have these on the left and on the right hand side. Usually on these balers are going to be very easily indicated by these stickers here. We just need to be making sure and hitting each one of these grease points on the left hand side and on the right hand side. And while we're at it, since we have so much chain that is exposed, a good rule of thumb would be to go ahead and keep some of that chain lubrication out, some of it that comes in the aerosol can, the spray kind, that we can easily hit these chains with that lubrication and make sure that we are keeping those maintained just like we are our grease points on the rest of our baler. Once we have everything lubricated, next what we want to do is go ahead and physically by hand get in either on the back side of this machine with that gate up, and then here at the front, go ahead and check all of our rollers that our belts run on. Make sure that they are smooth. We want to turn those by hand to be able to make sure that they're turning free, to make sure we don't have any bearing issues. We also want to make sure and check them visually, make sure there's no net wrap or any obstructions that have built up around them. Make sure that all of our rollers are clear. Now that we've done all of the physical maintenance to this, we have greased everything, cleaned everything out, lubricated the chains, checked the rollers, done everything physically that we can do to this. Most everything else is all going to be visual. So there are going to be some key points that we need to make sure and be checking. One is going to be back at the rear on the left hand side. We need to be going over here and checking out our net wrap belt and brake. If you don't use net wrap on this machine, this isn't something that you need to check, but most of these balers are going to be running net wrap through them, and it is a big deal to make sure to check that net wrap brake and the belt to make sure that your net wrap system is going to be functioning correctly once we go to the field with this machine. Next, what we want to do is we want to go ahead and get down, look here at our pickup. What we want to be doing is checking out the teeth that are going to be the little fingers here that pick up the hay, put that back into the machine. We also want to look at these U-shaped pieces here, which are going to be our strippers. Make sure and visually inspect all of those, make sure that those are good. And then while we've got that rear gate up and we can see on the inside of that machine, we also want to go on the inside, check out the rotor and also the plastic strippers to make sure that none of those need to be replaced as well. And then our last two are going to be ones that we should be checking all the time. But for one, we need to check our actual forming belts here. Make sure that we are checking those, even though we can only see so much of it. When you have that rear gate open, you can really see more of them. Make sure and be going and checking those out, looking to see if you have any wear spots, any tears, any type of wear on these that could be detrimental to bringing you down in the field. You want to make sure and catch that before you get out there. And then also, you're going to have your hydraulic lines here at the front that go to your machine. Make sure that you're inspecting those, because you've got to think about these hydraulic lines go from the baler to the machine. They are going to be its main source of power other than the drive line. And if you do happen to have one of these sitting in the wrong position while you're going through that hayfield, a lot of times these hayfields can be super rough and bumpy. We all know how rough of a ride sometimes it can be. And if that hose is sitting there constantly rubbing on a surface, it could put a hole in it, or could be starting to put a hole in it. And we definitely want to check that and catch that before we go to the hayfield. If we're hitting these daily maintenance points every time before we go to the hayfield, you are going to save yourself a lot of time, money, and headache. So I highly suggest that if you are a hay operator, you're going out, you're doing your own hay or doing custom for someone else, make a checklist like this. Maybe not this exact one, but make one similar. Make sure we stick to it, do it every day so that we are saving ourselves that time, money, and headache. And I hope that this video helped you out. Maybe this helped make your list for you or gave you some ideas that you hadn't thought about before. So guys, I hope you liked this video. If you did, we just ask you to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Also, if you are looking for more videos like this or just more videos over John Deere equipment in general, make sure to go check out the rest of the channel. And as always, guys, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Hey guys, make sure to check out this cool video and this one. Buy your parts right up here and subscribe right here.